Our story opens in World War II with a young boy named Angus. Though Angus loves the sea, he's afraid to go near it, sure that if he ever steps into the water, he'll drown and no one will be able to save him. He spends his time gathering seashells, just as he once did with his father. One day, he discovers a large, oddly light rock and decides to keep it. His mother, Anna, came out to send him home, so he headed to the shed to put away the seashells and the rock. As he did, he noticed that the surface of the rock was peeling and that it had an odd color. A sticky substance that resembled egg white was oozing from it. Just as he was about to take a closer look, his mother called out to him and he stepped away. But after that, the rock shifted slightly. Night fell and the wind grew strong enough to burst open the shed door. Angus went down to check on things and found the egg shattered on the floor, feeling an odd movement around him, accompanied by the sound of things breaking. He followed the noises and discovered a small creature hiding. When he reached out to it, the creature tried to bite him out of fear. Panicking, Angus ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife and a potato, and placed the potato in front of the creature, hoping it would eat. The creature began to munch on the potato and allowed Angus to touch it without attacking. Angus noticed a wound on the creature's back, so he hurried to get a first aid kit to bandage it up. After tending to the creature, he left it in the shed and returned to his room, hoping his mother wouldn't notice he was late. The next morning, Angus woke up to find a military platoon in front of the house, led by Captain Thomas. He informed them that the platoon would be temporarily camping in the garden while the officers would stay inside the house. Angus headed to his father's library and grabbed a dictionary before going to the shed to check on the creature. He found it munching on his father's shoe. Realizing it was hungry, he brought it a basket of food scraps. Angus decided to name the creature Crusoe, after the author of his father's favorite book. He searched the dictionary for any information on the type of creature that Crusoe might be, but he couldn't find anything specific. After Crusoe finished eating, Angus tried to touch its skin and realized it was dry and needed water. He filled a basket with water and poured it over the creature, which perked up and began splashing around joyfully. From that day on, Angus took care of Crusoe and played with him every day. One day, Anna searched for her son to tell him something about his father and ran into the new servant, Lewis. She asked him to clean the shed because she suspected Angus was keeping a pet there, even though animals were not allowed in the house. Lewis began cleaning and saw Angus pouring out the water where Crusoe had been swimming, but the creature was not visible. He asked the boy why he was in his father's shed, and Angus replied that he was following his mother's orders. After that, he hurried off to search for Crusoe everywhere until night fell. Crusoe had grown a lot and found his way inside the house. He was chased by the dog owned by the cook's trunk, but the dog was tied to the kitchen stove, so it pulled the rope violently and caused a huge mess, which forced Strunk to confine the dog to the shed to prevent it from destroying anything else. Angus's sister Christy heard a commotion coming from the bathroom and screamed. Angus rushed there first and explained the situation to her, convincing her that Crusoe was not dangerous. However, he was amazed at how quickly Crusoe had grown. Christy promised to keep the secret and not tell anyone. The next day, Anna gave Lewis some of her husband's old clothes. He thanked her, thinking he would express his gratitude to Mr. Angus when he returned, but Anna informed him that her husband had drowned on his ship a year ago and that Angus didn't know about it yet. Later, the bathroom needed repairs, so Angus and Christy tried to hide Crusoe from Lewis, but failed. Lewis saw the creature, and after calming down, he remarked that it resembled the legendary seahorse, being both male and female at the same time, which lays eggs only once before it dies. They all stayed in the bathroom longer than expected, prompting Anna to start looking for them. The kids pleaded with Louis to keep the incident a secret from their mother, and he agreed. They told her they were helping him fix the bathroom pipes, which allowed them to successfully conceal Crusoe without revealing their secret to her. While the army was having a feast in the house, Angus exited the bathroom and left the door open behind him. Crusoe dashed outside, followed by the dog, which was now unleashed in the house. The dog began to crash through everything in its path to reach Crusoe, which made the creature race down to the dining room where the officers and Anna were gathered. Crusoe slid under the table just as the dog jumped over it, causing chaos at the feast. Afterward, Crusoe escaped outside and jumped into the fish pond, devouring the fish until sunrise. At that point, Lewis noticed that Crusoe had grown larger since the last time he saw him. Realizing it was impossible to hide him in the house any longer, everyone had to put Crusoe into a cart and transport him to the nearest lake to release him. After Angus returned home, he discovered that his mother had asked Captain Thomas to train him with the battalion to keep him occupied with something useful. Angus was so busy with his training that he couldn't visit Crusoe, who was waiting for him. Finally, Angus managed to slip away from Thomas's watch. He headed to the lake where Crusoe lived and sat waiting for him to appear. However, the creature did not show up. Frustrated, Angus took a boat and rowed out to the middle of the lake. Suddenly, Crusoe emerged behind him, having grown significantly larger from all the food he had eaten there. Crusoe wanted to play just like before, so Angus climbed onto his back, and the creature took him for a ride in the water. The boy felt fear because he was afraid of swimming, but he quickly adapted to the experience and continued riding on Crusoe's back. As they were playing, Angus noticed that the lake was surrounded by a massive net set up by the army. After they finished playing, Crusoe took Angus back to the shore. Just before the creature dove underwater, Strunk spotted him swimming. Angus returned home and excitedly told Louis and Christy about what had happened, filled with happiness about his adventure with Crusoe. The next day, Captain Thomas took them all to show them the Army's operations on the hill and the battalion's plan to shell the Germans if they approached the coastal area. He showcased the power of the cannons and performed a live demonstration by firing rockets toward the lake where Crusoe lived. Angus went wild when he learned that the army was going to shell the lake. He tried to stop them but failed, and the shells began to rain down. Because he got too close to the danger zone and almost got hurt, his mother punished him by locking him in the house. At the same time, a local resident claimed to have seen Crusoe and began watching the lake with a photographer, hoping to capture a picture of the creature. When they failed to get a shot, they resorted to fabricating a photo in hopes of gaining fame. The fake photo spread in the newspapers, and Strunk saw the story, confirming to his colleague Walker that he had seen the creature himself. They decided together to catch Crusoe, hoping to gain fame as the monster killers. Meanwhile, Angus managed to escape the confinement his mother had placed on him and took Lewis to the lake to check on his friend. As soon as he called out, Crusoe appeared, but he seemed ready to attack them until Lewis intervened. He explained to Angus that the shelling had turned Crusoe into a wild creature that felt threatened and would charge at anyone. Angus returned home sadly, believing he had lost his friend for good. Later, Angus hears the barking of Strunk's dog and realizes that someone is indeed pursuing Crusoe. Strunk and Walker are chasing the creature in the lake and are requesting artillery strikes via radio for their rescue. Their boat capsizes near the shore. Walker swims frantically to the land, terrified, while Strunk finds himself alone in the water, facing Crusoe, who is about to pounce on him. Angus tried to stop Strunk from killing Crusoe, plunging into the water, nearly drowning himself. At that moment, Crusoe tossed Strunk away and dove down to rescue Angus, while Lewis managed to revive him. Captain Thomas arrived with Anna, and they both saw the creature with their own eyes, confirming Anna's belief that her son hadn't been imagining it. Suddenly, the artillery began shelling the lake, executing the call that had been sent from the boat before it capsized. Angus climbed onto Crusoe's back to guide him to an exit that would avoid the area of the bombing. However, the storm and heavy rain prevented Thomas from canceling the orders via radio. The observation soldiers mistook what they thought was a submarine periscope, so they raised the nets surrounding the lake to prevent what they believed to be a German attack, when in fact it was Crusoe's head. The shells continued to rain down on the creature and the boy, while Thomas and Anna moved their boat closer, ready to save Angus if he fell. Angus realized that the best chance for his friend's survival was to let him dive deep, so he swam back to his mother's boat. Meanwhile, Crusoe submerged and then leaped over the net, shattering its supports and surged into the open sea. The creature was finally free. At sunrise, Angus caught a glimpse of his friend one last time as he swam in the open sea, resembling someone waving goodbye. And that's a wrap on Angus and Crusoe's adventure here on Cinema in a Nutshell. If you enjoyed the story, hit the like button right now. Share this video with friends who love movies in minutes. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a nutshell.